That's another thing, isn't it? Controversy is a massive marketing technique
In
as
today's
well. Like, do you
society.
ever feel like just writing something so controversial? Yes, you probably do, because you do that. But like, just to see what would happen.
I mean,
Does
not
does
really,
that
because
not ever cross your mind?
there's not a status myself, but what we were saying, like in the start of this conversation, sometimes I feel like getting involved in some of the arguments I see online, just being like,
Mm.
it couldn't be wronger. You couldn't be any
If you
further
said
from.
if you came in on the argument and said you couldn't be wronger, you're getting chased out of there, man.
Like, yeah, but then I write it out and then I think, oh, what's the point? What is the point? Yeah.
But what I will say is that there was a time, I think it was 2 years ago, where there was some sort of drama going on, and it got to a point where it got really like, you know what I'm talking about, where it got really deep,
Right.
um, to a point where I got involved with it, like physically I got involved with it, and a few got involved with it. I'm not going to name any names because there's no need to.
Oh, I think, yeah, okay, go on. I think,
Yeah, and it moved from this whole thing of, entertainment and diss tracks and stuff like that, and it moved into something that was really, dangerous.
uh-huh.
And it really brought the true colors of people through,
Yeah,
in a good way
yeah,
and also in a bad
sure.
way. But when it comes down to it, it's all just music. You know what I mean? It's just.
That's bound to happen as well in like rap culture. That's bound to happen. You're bound to clash heads.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely. Because I mean, there are a lot of people, especially when the Black Lives Matter thing happened and the George Floyd thing happened.
Uh-huh.
Um, there seemed to be quite a divide, but between people.
Yeah.
I started noticing this, and I also started feeling this within myself. I was getting really riled up about it, and I didn't know why I was getting riled up about it. But
Uh-huh.
everything comes back to the social media side of things, because this is why I wanted to do this, because the communication is so key. Because how you speak to someone via a comment, or or a status, is so different to how you take time to speak to someone and understand what they're saying, instead of reading. It's almost like you speak in a different language when you're writing a status, or because you try to create some sort of response or
Right,
reaction
right, right,
out
right,
of
right.
someone.
Yeah.
Whereas the way we're speaking now, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're speaking, you're saying something, I'm listening to you, I'm saying something, and I'm speaking with passion, you're speaking with passion about things, and it just feels a lot more natural
Uh-huh.
to, the way that you post a status or even put out a song sometimes, and it's to get a reaction. Do you know
Uh-huh.
what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And then again, the communication of the response that it does receive in terms of songs, fire emojis, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, gifs, stuff like that. The communication goes out the window.
Yeah, but
It
also you have to remember that like Facebook and that isn't the be all and end all. I know it's like the main resource where I keep up to date with friends and
Mhm.
people that I know and stuff and find out what's going on. But it's also I heard somebody once describe Instagram as Instagram's a highlight reel of your life. You never put
Mhm.
Childish Gambino once said nobody ever stunts at a funeral and puts it on Instagram.
Mhm.
You just put on like what I put on. This is a great example. I'm my own hypocrite. I posted on Instagram for my birthday, which was the 7th of October. Today's the what? 20 something? of October, near the end of October.
8th.
And yesterday, I hadn't posted anything for 3 weeks. And then yesterday, I posted the Nova Radio things. I've lived a lot of life in those couple of weeks. I've done some stuff. I don't know. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head, but it probably hasn't been great. Just sat in the house during lockdown, bored. I haven't posted it on Instagram, but I got nominated for a thing. Yeah, look, validate me, give me likes, vote for me, and stuff like that.
Validation. That's
Validation.
the thing.
But I don't know why. But I'm my own hypocrite. I say it's like that thing where you give advice to people all the time. When it comes to your life, you're a mess. Like,
well, that's the thing though. But it's so much easier to give advice to someone to help someone than it is to take it yourself.
You're trying to take your own advice though. Like I always tell people, don't worry about your streaming numbers, do your music for you and everything. And I'm looking like 200 streams.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Take my own advice.
But the funny thing is like someone else that you're looking at someone. For example, I looked at you with Hive Mind, and you've got 8,000 streams. I was like, wow, that's unreal. I've got, as of now, 339 streams on Mr. Sunshine. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, if I hadn't looked at your streams or someone else's streams or whatever, that would probably be amazing to me, because that's 339 people, or close to, that have listened to it and took time out to listen to it and made it a part of their day, made it a part of their night, made it a part of their playlist. Sure. Which is amazing. But then I see Hive Mind's, got 8,000 streams, and I'm like, well, does that make my streams less valuable or whatever?
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying it does at all, but it definitely goes through my head.
I understand what you mean.
When I see any artist, because this is the thing now, a lot of artists are posting how many streams they get.
Yeah.
They never used to really do that. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people didn't know about, just how successful you are. As much as, they're being open, they're also showing their vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because the same way that you, Hive Mind, would post 8,000 streams, that other band that you've seen got 30,000 streams.
Yeah.
It's always about looking higher and higher and higher,
Yeah.
And that is the biggest thing for me. It's really just to come back to my own world, come back to my own, my own way of life and thinking, and my own mindset, and go, 339 streams is bloody good, man. Because my EP I released in January got, I think it was in the space of what Mr. Sunshine got, I think I had about 100, maybe less. And it only got 1,000 streams last month.
Right.
Only hit 1,000 streams last month. Whereas
sorry, go on.
You see in other artists, and I'm not even talking about well-established artists in the Northeast or whatever. I'm talking about just artists, like bedroom artists or whatever. And they're racking up these views and these streams like no one's business. And it takes every ounce of my being to not go, why isn't that happening to me?
Well, what I was saying before, I don't want to diminish if you caught what I was trying to say or whatever. That band that got 30,000 streams, and I said that only had X amount of monthly listeners, I was implying that I think they've farmed the streams or bought the streams. So that's also something you have to look at as well, or bear into consideration.
But sorry, I've got a piece of
just high-fiving.
But what I'm trying to say is, there's the streams and then there's the listeners, and then there's the reality that brings it all together. And at the end of the day, my reality is that a heartfelt comment from someone to me going, for example, I'll share this. Ben Taylor, Kush Noodle, hit me up. and he was like, "Oh, I hope you're all right," you know, with Corona and stuff like that.
Mm.
I went through it, and it was killer. And then he said, "I've listened to Mr. Sunshine," and he said, "You know, I love how you speak, and you have this authentic vibe about." And he just the words he said meant everything to me, because it wasn't just fire emojis.
Yeah.
It wasn't just love the tune is sick.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
really took time to, you know, and he also, everything he said, I said to him, "You've hit the nail on the head there," because that's exactly how I was thinking when I wrote it. And that's exactly the reaction that I wanted from people.
Yeah.
You know, I want people to listen to my lyrics, and I want people to go, "That really spoke to me."
Yeah.
Because as much of a, you know, I really want to be able to help people with my music. That would be a massive reward for me, you know. And I'm not even just saying this, but like the fact that I could have 3 million of those streams, and I could have paid for them or whatever, but I wouldn't get that response,
Exactly.
the comments like that.
Yeah.
You don't get that from paying for streams and stuff like that. It looks good to the generic eye. It looks good to a basic, someone with a basic understanding of what music or listening to music is. But when you get those comments and those private messages where people go, "I've listened to your music and it really speaks to me."
Yeah.
Give me that one person listening to that for the rest of their life, and I'd probably be happy.
Yeah, I think most artists that took themselves seriously would rather have 10 true fans than 100 people that have heard of you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
Hands
absolutely.
down. There's if so, like, we start this conversation by saying, "I mean, you gig a lot, right?" If we did a gig, packed room, 500 people, and everyone was like, "Oh, is that Jack Fox? Oh yeah, no, I've seen him on whatever." Or there was 50 people there that knew every word to every song. 50 people. Like, I'd rather have half the room empty, but 50 people going, "Drive a car, whatever." Like, hands down.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why also. And the thing is that when we started Frets and Fox, I brought you into my world of these unique acoustic covers, and really doing something where it turns heads, instead of people going, "Oh yeah, they're obviously a great singer,"
Right.
but where people come to us and go, "I've never heard that in my life."
Yeah. There's been loads of people that have said
You
that
know,
as well.
exactly. But that's the thing. Like, I've played to like 10 people before, and I've had the person come to me and go, "I love how you take a song and you make it your own." And I go, "That's exactly what I wanted, what I'm trying to do."
Yeah.
And you get me, you know. And that's like the reason that I wanted to do Frets and Fox, was because I wanted people to go, "I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
I've never experienced this before. This is acoustic hip hop covers." And then people are going to come to us and go, "Is that what it is?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we'll be like, "I've never heard that before, but I really enjoyed it. And I never would have expected that to come out of a bar in South Shields." And that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
When people understand your vision and become a part of you, you know, they almost like, it's like their soul just joins you,
Yeah.
and they get what you're trying to do. That is the most rewarding thing, in my opinion, as an artist, as a musician, even putting on events with Rank Music and Management. I'm always trying to do something unique, because I want to stand out from the crowd.
Sure.
You know, that's why I call that thing at Barca, you know, out of the crowd.
Right.
You know, always trying to be a beacon, you know, something that's different. You know, there's so many musicians, there's so many rappers, there's so many drummers, there's so many comedians, you know. So what makes you different? You know, like how are you going to stand out from that? You know, how are you
I'm
going
the
to?
handsomest one. That's why I still go.
Which drummer or comedian?
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've tried to live my life by. I've always tried to stand out and not be the best, but be different. You
uh,
know, because you're never going to be the best. There's always going to be someone better than you. I believe that because no matter what I do, there's always someone that is going to be doing something better than me.
well, yeah,
So,
but then again, define better.
well, that's the thing.
It's
It
always
took me a while to realize what better was and what success was and what you know. There's no, you can't define it. That's the thing. Other people will define it, and other people will put you in a box and put you in a label, give you a label. But it's what you do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't define success by like financially or the amount of followers or streamers, whatever. But then also, like, I'll look at some of the other artists in the region, not even necessarily in the scene, but in like the area of the Northeast that have loads of followers or whatever, and I don't like their music, or I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah.
sorry, that's not. That sounded really bitchy. Not that I don't like their music, but I don't make the same kind of music they do. So how can I compare myself to a grime artist? I've never spat on a grime song, and I never will because that's just not my kind. I enjoy it for whatever, and I appreciate whatever. But so how can I compare myself to any dons? They're doing their own thing, and they're smashing it as well at the minute. But how
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't look at my streaming numbers and their streaming numbers or followers and go,
But
well,
you do though. I
yeah,
bet you do
yeah, but
because I
yeah,
do the same.
yeah,
And then I also realize one, I haven't been going as long as this said person that
that's
I'm
also true.
looking at,
Yeah, yeah, that's also
and
true.
that's also another thing. Why do I deserve that many streams? You know, I haven't been going as long. I only started rapping last year. You
Yeah,
know, so why should I be getting 10,000 streams on a track whereas reality has been going, you know, for God knows how long, and he's built that up, you know,
yeah.
because when he started, he wasn't getting that. When you started, you weren't getting the same recognition as what you get now.
True. That's half the reason why I did all those EPs.
Exactly, but the thing is that you've done those EPs, and then it was really. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started getting out to these events and getting in front of people, and people were realizing that you weren't just a Facebook page or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
you
yeah.
know or they were putting when you were humanized almost.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like it's so weird. Like I remember uh, when I met Morgan from Any Dons and stuff
yeah,
like that. He was so different to what I thought he would have
yeah.
been. When
For
I met
sure.
Zico, when I met Iconic, all these artists, when I meet them, they are so different to what I think
Yeah.
it would be. But when you humanize them, it's a different level. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's just funny, man, because I see, even though I have a connection with these artists and stuff like that, and also I can be in a position where I can provide opportunities, I still see them in a celebrity like manner. Even sometimes with you, like, when you're a comedian, drummer, like when I came to see you in Hive Mind and I
Oh, yeah.
saw the place packed out and you were on the stage and people were there to see you, and I saw you as a celebrity in that moment. Do you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, yeah, I do. But then it also goes back to what you say. We've been a band for a long time, and there's four of
Exactly.
us. There's four of us. So that's four times the pull of friends coming to see us, and four of us working together to promote the gig to different people. Like two of them are from Sunderland. I've got
Mm,
no reach in Sunderland of people.
yeah.
The work in, I'm not going to say where they work, but they work in places that they have friends. And
Mm,
I don't want to put all his business out there, but one of the members, which narrows it down to two of them because Georgia's a woman. One of the members is older, I would say. Like you know, and he works in a place where he works in a place where it's interesting that he's in a band. Oh, you're in a band. That's what. Can I have a listen? Then also, we the guy who produces our songs, Richard Trubridge, at True Studios in Durham, does a hell of a job. He's very good. Helps me that he's a drummer, so he knows all the tips and tricks and stuff to help us out.
Yeah.
And production's always, I think, top quality. So as soon as people press play on that song, they go, bloody hell, it's a good. I think a lot of people who aren't. So repeat myself a lot. Me and you are friends with a lot of artists, so we hang around with a lot of artists. So we have a high barrier for the music we listen to.
Yes.
If you take a step back and you work in an office and you find out one of your office mates is in a band, the only bands you listen to are Take That, One Direction, you maybe like an Arctic Monkeys song, or I bought the first Oasis album, but I haven't really heard much since then. I like the greatest hits of ABBA, right? Then you're in a band, you play guitar in a band. That's how it is. And you just think, it's going to be John and his guitar. And he's going to be, whoa, that sounds really good. You got the production.
You put work into it, like yeah.
Oh, and you go, you played a festival. You played the BBC stage at a festival. Let's have a look. You go on Facebook. You go, you got a gig coming up next week. Oh yeah, I'll come. And you come and you see jumping around on stage and sweaty and people jumping around. What's going on? Then like you say, it's celebrity state. It just gets bigger. Whereas me and you are like, I've got a gig tonight. All right, yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny.
I think it's funny. I think it's really funny.
It is because it reminded me of when I first went to uni. I only made it a year in uni. I failed my first year in uni, right? Put it out there, right? I failed uni, right? But I remember I was in the music course, and I was making a lot more friends with people that weren't in the music course and stuff like that. And also I knew a lot of people in uni just because of being in halls and stuff like that. So, but I was constantly talking to people and constantly, socializing with people. And I remember I'd done a gig, just me acoustically, and about 50 people turned up to see us, just me.
Yeah.
The place was rammed. I remember when I worked at All Saints, and I said, "I've got a gig tonight in some bar," and the whole of them came along to see us because they're like, "Hey, sounds cool, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Like get the drinks in, blah blah blah, and they're all rowdy as hell and stuff like that. But like now, because I don't have anyone else apart, you know what I mean? Like
it's the same.
I've come to my gig on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, but also half the time it's you're coming to my gig. Oh, I'm already gigging.
Exactly.
Like I still keep in touch with like my closest school friends, very close. Yeah. It's even got to the point now where some of them don't come to my gigs because they're like, you got another gig. Like,
another gig.
You don't want to come? Go down the pub? You don't want to come down? No, I've got a gig in Middlesbrough. Like, you don't want to, like.
Well, you realise that, don't you? You realise, like, are you the same as me, where I don't ask people to come to my gigs anymore because I'm like, I asked you last week. I saw you last week. You came and seen us. It's going to be exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
The only person that comes to all my gigs, no matter what, is Matty.
There he is. Yeah.
Because like I know now that I'll do a gig. Before lockdown or whatever, but I'll do a gig and then we're out. We're just going to party after it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it's a way of being social for me.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
But also he really supports me, and I love him for that. But like when you came along to see the Outcasts on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Dragged up my friend. That's a friend I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But like that was awesome because like it was, it was just great to have people see me and what I do, and also I get a lot of motivation to perform better when I've got people there to see me.
Yeah, I do as well. It's weird.
Well, I just get like I want to perform more when my friends are there, and also I just love me friends come to see us. You know, like I love it a lot more now than what I did. It,
Right.
you know, I don't think I had as much belief in myself as an artist or as a musician until I didn't start gigging as much, because
Uh-huh.
before Right Music and Management, I was gigging. I was living in town, and I was gigging Botanist on a Tuesday. I was at down the quayside on a Wednesday. I was back in the Botanist on a Thursday. Friday I was with my trio. Saturday I was with my trio, solo, duo, 3 gigs on the Saturday, and then Sunday I would be gigging as well.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't ask people to come see us
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
one, I'm bored of it myself. I've got no
Yeah.
passion for it myself. You know what I mean? So the biggest thing, the biggest change for me was when I cut down my gigs, started putting on gigs for other people. I started realizing that if you give these artists that aren't necessarily artists, the ones that are starting out, the ones that are dying to get on stage, and the ones that are dying to tell their friends and their family they're going to be performing on Thursday night or Friday night, you
Uh-huh.
know, or Sunday night, they're going to be performing. That's when you're going to get that real energy and passion.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you're going to be posting about it on social media. Like when I was at the height of my gigging, I wasn't posting about my gigs. I
Yeah.
didn't want to, because I had no passion for it. I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about me singing George Ezra again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but I realize this when you start to realize the mechanics of promotion, and that could be with anything. That could be with music. That could be with events. That could be with anything. When you realize the mechanics and the algorithm and the audience, you recognize your audience, and you recognize exactly who you're talking to, who you're speaking to when you put out these posts, and when you say, I want you to come to my gig, it's not just a case of copy and paste a link and turn up if you want. If you go, I want to see you at my gig,
Yeah.
I want you to listen to my music, I'm really interested to hear what you think about my music. You know, I remember I used to get, this was like years ago, but I used to get messages being like, oh, I saw you were a fan of Ben Howard, so copy and paste a massive
Right.
paragraph.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not going to listen to that. But
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing, and I was getting no response. I might have got a little response or whatever, but when you come at it from a place of, you know, when you speak to someone as a human being, when you communicate with someone and interact with someone as a human being, you get a human being responding back to you.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Uh-huh.
And that you know sort of incorporates into gigs. It incorporate, you know, when you create a connection with someone down the mic. What I realized when I was gigging, I used to turn up and be this absolute bellend that'd be like, oh, my music, and it'll just talk. My voice will speak for me, my vocals will speak for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone spoke to us, when I actually would talk to people down the mic and have a bit banter with them and stuff like that, even before the gig or after the gig, you would see that response,
Of course.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
when you put love out and a real um, honest, a real honest sort of interpretation of yourself, you get the honest response back.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's the same with events. That's the same with promoting your music. That's the same with performing. That's anything. But it's so easy not to do that. It's so easy to go and buy those streams. It's so
Yeah.
easy to go and, you know, buy those views, or, you know, even not buy it, but even just go copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and send, or send to all,
Yeah.
invite all.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so easy to do that, because you you just think, oh, it's out there now, so whatever happens, happens. But if you put that time and effort and and love and passion into your promotion. Like with you, with you know, when you were putting out all the videos and stuff like that, you could tell you wanted people to listen to you, and you also you had a passion for what you were doing, and people buy into that. They buy into the energy of what you put out.
I hope so.
Even
Yeah.
if even when you were doing stuff like, oh yeah, like, oh, I've got a song coming out and you can do it, but even though you were speaking like that, the passion and energy was still in there,
Right.
regardless of how you were speaking about
Yeah.
it. You know
Well,
what
I mean,
I'm saying?
if I'm doing a video on it in the first place, that means like even if I'm speaking like that, it's like on purpose. Like,
Exactly,
you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Well, you have this sarcastic way of coming across anyway,
Yeah.
you know, but it's witty and people buy into that. It's a character, as you say.
I hope
And again, once you realize your brand, I realized when you realize your brand because you made the fox emoji, you realize that fox emoji, you
Yeah.
know, and immediately that just changed the game, in my opinion, when I
Yeah.
started seeing, you know, like just the little fox in the corner and stuff like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so clever, and it's these just tiny little changes that you make where you start to take yourself seriously, and when you take yourself seriously, other people take yourself seriously,
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
you seriously as well. And I realize that now, when you have passion and you have belief in yourself, other people will have belief in you.
Yeah. I think so. It's confidence, self confidence radiates.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.